What's up, cheeseheads? Before we get into today's podcast, we wanted to tell you about what Ethan and I have been up to in 2022. Something very exciting. It's a new product that we have launched for employee engagement called the Pool Boys. Tell them what's up.
That's right. So right here, as you can see, the Pool Boys, what we want to do is create an awesome environment for your office pools. So we're going to come in, we're going to run everything for small business owners, large business owners, basically business owners, where we want to come in, provide an awesome red carpet experience where we up the engagement, up the fun by running your office pools, whether it be March Madness. We got some fun fall offerings, whether it be college football pick'em, NFL pick'em, Survivor. We got you covered no matter what the pool is. We are your boys for it. So let's get going.
That's right. This is an employee engagement play. If you're having any trouble at all with retention or engagement or even internal communication, let the Pool Boys take a look and show you some of the products that we can offer. We shoot customized videos with these handsome fellas, and we send them to your team, and we talk trash about your people. It's so much fun. I got to tell you.
We build you up too. Don't worry. It's not just trash, but there is a lot of trash.
There is some trash. All right, guys, check us out at www.thepoolboys.net, and we're going to get into the episode now. Welcome back to Fold in the Cheese. It's your boy K-Troll on the mic this morning. Thursday, last divisional preview today, and I'm joined as always by my boy Ethan Gelfand. What is happening?
It's been a marathon, man. All the divisions. We started off doing 2-a-days, just kind of like mandatory OTAs. We did 2-a-days.
Yep.
Now, we're seeing some injuries, so we're kind of lightening up the load, just doing one at a time. It's crazy. Last one. But
we're basically in the preseason right now where we're not even playing. Like we're not even.
So we didn't start.
We're not even.
We should have had stand-in. Oh, we should have had like our backup.
We should have had our understudies.
I was gonna say understudy, but I was like, is that lame? Because that's more like theater. But
we're old.
Yeah. So in my head,
the scabs, as they would say in replacements. Should have had the scabs.
Speaking of scabs, so.
I don't know where this is going to go. I'm not sure I like it.
Not like real scabs. You were talking about the replacements. So
yes.
How excited were we a few weeks ago when we were doing our jersey order and we saw Shane Falco and you were this close to getting a Shane
I almost
Falco.
went Shane Falco. I really wanted to go Willie Beeman, but it was just a plain black jersey with like just white numbers. I was like,
it didn't have the shark logo is pretty sick. Like I like the shark logo.
Yeah. It did not live up to expectations, but Falco was a really good one. The red and blue, and that was good.
Yeah,
that was good.
Like the stripe on the sleeve, and
Yep, that's pretty sweet. I've actually seen a Falco jersey out in the wild now. Since I saw that on the website, I randomly ran into someone who was I forget where we were, like a restaurant or something, and I was like, oh damn, yes, you got a Shane Falco jersey. Oh, nice,
nice. It was.
I wonder if he got it from that place in China.
Yeah. How much? If I were like a Keanu Reeves, I would just wear like my movie stuff all the time. So I'd wear my Shane Falco.
I feel like he's Neo a lot out in public. I think he wears a lot of black like that.
He does. Big old long trench coats. But actually, I've heard Keanu Reeves is like the nicest guy in Hollywood, just in life. He's like the nicest guy.
That's what the stories are. They're like, I almost feel like they're like urban legend at this point, where they're like Keanu Reeves stopped in my gas station and gave me $1 million, and now I own my own gas station.
I own the gas station. I buy.
Okay, I'm a little confused by that.
Well, I think someone live stream or like was doing like a vlog. Like their plane was canceled and they had to take these shuttles, and it turns out Keanu Reeves was on their flight. It was just like it wasn't like a private charter or anything like that. It was just a normal commercial flight, and they're just like, "Hey, there's Keanu." He's like, "Hey guys, how's it going? I'm here, right? We're with you." And like they just. What is it? Just they monitor it as the whole situation transpires, and they're just hanging out. And he's
just hanging out.
One of the folk. Yeah.
Hey guys, I heard if we get a bus, I can drive it. I had to work on that a lot for that movie I did one time.
Pop quiz: how fast does it have to go?
50. It has to go 50, not 55, not 60,
not 55,
not 80.
Man, 85.
Leslie Shea, not 80.
85.
Leslie tried to say 80 miles an hour through suburbs. He's like winding through the neighborhoods at 80,
making a jump over a gap in a bridge. I mean,
that was pretty sick. That was pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie. Yes. So speaking of sick, you've got a freaking hammerhead shark on your shirt. You got to tell us about this. That is badass. Coming out of a banana.
It is a hammerhead shark coming out of a banana. We are representing the band Banana Hammer. It is spectacular. Shout out to our boy Drader. I saw he posted this on his Instagram, I believe, and it's like new merch drop. I was like, this is an amazing shirt. Even if I didn't support you and the band, I would have to get it regardless. So
Yes.
I love it.
I totally agree. If I'd seen that shirt in a store somewhere, I would have just bought it because it's awesome.
I mean,
it's
an
doubly awesome
logo.
knowing that it's our boy. Yeah, it is a sweet logo. He created that himself.
Yeah.
Big shout out to him. This is the Maryland and DC Maryland area #1 reggae cover band.
Right.
By the way, Banana Hammer. They're blowing up, man. They're going big time. They're blowing up.
Hey, we just got to get them to see if they can do a road trip to Michigan. That'd be amazing. Got a lot of great record.
We could change our theme song to like a reggae kind of thing, and maybe they could record it for us.
That's what we'll say. What if we had them license for our new segments, like they do the on campus or blind resumes?
I think he would definitely do that just as like an audio file on his phone and just send it to us. So,
but I would actually want like a 2-minute intro.
Wouldn't he? Wouldn't he do it? Yes, he would. I'm looking at you, directly at you, Nick Trader.
Do it.
Yeah, that's a sick shirt. I also ordered one because it's awesome. Mine has not arrived yet, and I'm not sure why, and I'm not happy about it. But
top fan, #1 fan,
I guess. Apparently, not #1. I guess.
Yeah. Shout out to Drader. These are awesome. I love it, and I'm gonna rock it out whenever I can.
If y'all aren't watching this on YouTube right now, you need to be going to YouTube and checking it out. We usually will put the link in the show notes on the podcast. Check it out on YouTube. Check us out on YouTube. We are live streaming this bad boy. It is.
Yes.
It's pretty sick.
Color. Awesome, man. So what do you think? Should we dive into some AFC West?
We should. And I will note that I'm prepared in my AFC West Chargers jersey today.
I see that.
This, I believe, was my first ever football jersey. This powder blue Drew Brees. Wow. That's right. He was there for like a year and a half. And this is what started my buy a jersey player leaves tradition. Because as soon as I got this jersey, he went down to Miami. And then to New Orleans.
Yes. He never went to Miami, but
he almost went to Miami.
Almost did. So, okay, I know you exaggerated when you said he was there for like a year and a half, but it was 4, right? Because it was on his rookie deal.
No, it was not 4 years.
It was not a year and a half.
I'll look it up while you talk about how great he is.
You look it up. I'm not gonna lie. I was not a big fan of Drew Brees when he was coming out of college. I know he was like your brother's savior and your savior at Purdue and all that, but I don't know. I think he just annoyed me. I was like, this little guy is tearing it up, and it's frustrating.
Yeah,
and I don't know why. So
he was there for 5 seasons, actually.
Right. See,
we didn't play. He didn't play because he was backing up Doug Flutie his rookie season. But then I guess he started after that. Maybe I don't know. I guess he played. He might have played for 4 years. I didn't realize he was there that long.
But then when he made it to the Chargers, and I liked his story. Obviously, yes, coming behind Doug Flutie a little bit, and then he was always just kind of like this underdog player that no one ever thought he would amount to anything. And, he just kept showing up, and then he gets hurt, and then everyone's counting him out like his career's done. And, he goes to New Orleans, and he just does it. He goes to a city that needed like a face of the franchise, that needed a savior in the sense of both off the field and on it. And he really embraced it, and just, I don't know. It's a great story. I love the guy now. Not gonna lie, did not like him coming out, but I do now.
So I was a huge fan. Obviously, he was at Purdue while my brother was there. And so I got to watch his college games and even got to very briefly meet him on the field. They did like a spring game kind of thing where all the fans could come down and get autographs and stuff. Super nice guy.
He was also thrown in your backyard with Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan and Drew Brees and I were thrown together. Yeah, that's how it went. Yeah. No, but he is a very nice guy, and also I loved because he was a short quarterback. To your point, he was not that tall. He was probably, I mean, he might have been 6 foot, but he's probably more like 5'10", 5'11". And for me, that was inspirational. Obviously, Doug Flutie was awesome, even shorter than him. But so I love Drew Brees because I get to watch him so much, and he was so freaking good. They were so prolific at Purdue, and that was back when the Big Ten, like you'd go like 8-4 and you'd be in the Rose Bowl. Like nowadays, if you lose a game, you're pretty much out. Back then it was like you couldn't possibly go through the Big Ten and win every game. So
it was a tough road.
He had some killer seasons, broke all the records, of course. And then when he went to San Diego, I thought Powder Blues were sick. And of course, he was number 9. He switched his number. He was 15 in college. Mm-hmm. He switched his number to 9 in the NFL, and so I was even more stoked because I was 9. And I was like, "This is awesome!
This is the best thing ever."
He was my favorite player basically forever. And so since then, though, I think he's kind of broken the mold a little bit because now you've got Russell Wilson came through, and I loved him for kind of the same reasons,
Size,
good
ability,
dude,
handler.
shorter, sick arm, great
Yeah.
athleticism, and now you've got like Kyler and people like that. There's like it's a lot more common now, and in part because they
Baker
run.
Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield. It's in part because they run, but also I guess they've just figured out how to. Drew was funny because like when you watch him, his head's always like way back because he's trying to see down the field. He's always like looking way. He's almost like looking back, like down.
I think he's looking at the jumbotron. So
he's like, what's going on up there? Oh, he's open. Ah! No, but he's an all-timer, first ballot Hall of Famer, man, legend.
100%. Not a legend in the broadcasting booth though.
Not awesome in the broadcasting. Not awesome.
Not there.
He's like so, and honestly, he could get like much better, over time. He probably will.
Right.
But he's not a natural like Romo was, or even Peyton.
Romo, my God,
Romo's the best, man. He's
better.
He's the best. By far, by far.
Real quick, I do like the fact that these are both powder blue.
That's true. That's true.
Matchies.
And you got some yellow on there too, so you're chargered up.
Yeah.
Bolts. Let's go. Let's jump in. Let's jump into AFC West.
Let's do this.
Let's do it. We had the Chiefs 12-5 last year, first place.
First in the West, AFC Championship game.
As per usual for them, except look out this year. This is going to be by far the most competitive division in football, I think.
Oh my gosh. It's literally going to be a bloodbath in the West. And this is what's so weird is, the Chiefs for the past 3-4 years have been, well, basically since Mahomes has been starting. So was that three years now? Have looked unstoppable. And this is the first year where they've had a tremendous amount of turnover. And it's going to be interesting to see what kind of team they are now. Obviously when they made it to the Super Bowl against the Bucs, the biggest concern was like the offensive line, as Mahomes was just getting crushed that game.
Yep.
And so now you're having all these changes on offense. You're still like question mark in the backfield. Is it going to be Clyde? Is it, who's it going to be in the backfield? And now with your top wide receiver gone, I don't know, man. Could this be the year where KC takes a step back? I mean, with the AFC West being so ridiculously competitive, I mean, are they still the leaders in the pack?
I don't think so. I really don't. And I think, I'm not trying to sensationalize losing Tyreek Hill, which sounds crazy because that is a huge loss. We all know Mahomes is a beast, and we all know Kelsey's a beast. Kelsey's also like 32 or 33. Not to say he hasn't necessarily lost a step, but like he's not getting better.
Well, and the weird thing was there were games last year he just disappeared. And he would have like 2 catches for 30 yards. And we talked about it last season, like which Kelsey's going to show up or which Mahomes Kelsey's going to show up.
Yeah.
But maybe, with Tyreek gone, maybe Mahomes relies on him more. Although everyone's saying Juju has been looking spectacular in the preseason in camp. So I don't know.
Yeah, he's already got like a knee or hamstring or something issue already, which I think is crazy. So I found this insane. They paid him less than Byron Pringle got from the Bears. They paid Juju less than the deal that Byron Pringle got, and that just tells you the injury risk that I think all the league, everybody in the league was worried about with him.
I guess. I was just going to say, why is everyone so down and on him? And I guess it is the injury issues because, that year, 2 or 3 years ago in Pittsburgh, he was a top 5 receiver.
He was nasty.
And that's with Antonio Brown. Or was that with Antonio Brown?
Yeah, he was with AB.
Okay. Yeah. And that was with AB. Obviously the injuries were a concern, and everyone thought either last year or the year before was going to be like his bounce back year. He's going to be the guy. And then that's when it was him, Claypool. Like, it was just spread out.
Well, you had Noodle Arm over there as well. So Roethlisberger started. He went from like this deep threat to
he was more al dente.
Yeah. Maybe. I think it was a full-blown soft noodle. I think it was fully cooked. But I think he went from like this like deep threat, like long yards per catch kind of guy to like a total slant only receiver. It was kind of crazy. He was like a 6 yards per catch kind of dude. It was weird how that changed for him. So I don't know. I think with Mahomes, obviously, it opens it back up to do down the field and crossers, whatever. I'm excited about him there. I think he could rejuvenate his career. He's still super young. He's still like 25 or something,
Yeah, and I actually have a slight little soft spot for him. The reason why is, at my time at Penn State, have you heard of the thing? One of the biggest student-run fundraisers in the country is called Fawn, and it's a student run. It's a dance marathon for 48 hours, raising money for the Four Diamonds Fund, which is for helping families who have children with cancer. And so they raise tens of millions of dollars a year. It's a spectacular event. And so my wife and I knew someone who was going to be a dancer, and that's a big deal to be an actual dancer. You get sponsorships, and you try and raise the most money as you can. She just reached out to Juju on Instagram or Twitter, and he was all for it, and like sent jerseys in and sent a message. So it was really cool that he gave back like that. So ever since then, I've been a Juju fan. I'm like, okay, that's fair.
No, I'm a fan of his too. I did not know that about him. I think I'd heard some stories about him being like a good off the field guy as well. But
except when he's dancing on logos, man. Granted, that's on the field, literally, but still,
that's literally on the field,
literally.
But I think he's super talented. I think he's got the opportunity here.
This is a great spot for him.
Valdes-Scantling, same thing. Like he showed flashes in Green Bay, and he was their deep threat in Green Bay, and so that probably replaces Demarcus Robinson or Byron Pringle maybe more than Tyreek. But like, hey, you got a big arm and you've got opportunity. I mean, what more could you want? This is going to be the craziest receiving core because you don't know who's going to emerge, but someone's going to be a stud.
Someone will be.
It likely won't be 2 or 3 guys. I mean, if you think historically about how they've done, it's always been Tyreek and Kelsey, and then there would be a third guy, but it would be like every other game. It'd be like Pringle would have a big game.
Remember Sammy Watkins? Like
Sammy Watkins, game one every year.
300 yards and 3 touchdowns, and he's on my bench. Like, great. And then you put him in 5 catches for 2 yards.
Mecole Hardman is still there, so he's gonna have his games too. But like,
or you draft someone like Sky Moore out of Western Michigan. What's with Western Michigan and producing all these wide receivers now?
Wide receiver, you baby.
Rowing that? Well, formerly rowing the boat, but yeah.
Womp womp. Yeah. So they're loaded with talent, but a little unproven, I guess.
Right.
That's how I would say it. Like, you've got a lot of guys with raw speed and raw talent. I'll be very interested to see who emerges. Do you think this is Juju's job mostly? Is that kind of the common?
100%. I mean, everything I've been reading is he has separated himself, that he is wide receiver 1, and then he's looked great. So I think.
So how high do you take him? New system, great opportunity, maybe the best in the league.
Honestly, I wouldn't take him higher than 20th wide receiver.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest.
Yeah. So that's probably 4th round-ish.
5th, maybe.
4th, 5th,
4th, 5th, probably around there. But one question I have was one of their new additions is Ronald Jones. So I know you are off the CEH bandwagon. You are off his ship.
I am.
100%. He was hotly talked about last season. He did win me a couple do-it bets for daily fantasy.
True.
But so what do you see with Ronald coming in here now? Because obviously he lost his job to Leonard Fournette in Tampa. He's here. Is he going to challenge CEH? Is he just going to be a third down guy?
I don't know. I think he probably just compliments him. They still have Jerick McKinnon too. And they drafted this kid, Isaiah Pacheco, who I put on here because he's getting all kinds of buzz. Like, he's a 7th round draft pick. I don't know. He's from Rutgers. I don't know anything about him. I guess his film looks pretty good, but like, he's not taking the job away from CEH, at least not anytime soon. I don't think CEH has got this thing like stranglehold. Number one, no doubt. But I think he'll be the guy. They're going to give him the opportunities initially. If he flounders, I think they'll start experimenting with Ronald Jones a little bit.
Yeah.
I thought McKinnon looked really good in this system as well, and he's kind of like went away for a few years and came back, and he's.
Right.
I mean, I think the guy's good. He's good. I think he looked really good in the system. I wish they'd play him more, but I don't know. I'm probably staying away from the backfield for the most part, unless this is like a flex. I don't think I want any part of these guys.
But hey, if you can get CEH for cheap on daily fantasy, do it. Do it.
Don't remind me. All right, so revamped all around. Let's move on to, speaking of revamped, the Raiders.
So not many additions or departures, but it is quality over quantity. Obviously, the biggest thing was Davante Adams coming in and that big deal. So, all right, is it the same kind of deal in Miami where they're giving Derek Carr the pieces? Obviously, it's his college teammate. I don't think Derek Carr has had as much to prove as Tua does this year. Derek has kind of established himself as a good NFL quarterback, correct? I wouldn't say he's spectacular, but he's a very good, more than serviceable.
Yeah, he's good.
Tua is serviceable right now.
Yeah, he's good. He's
is
good.
This I mean, it was great they made the playoffs last year. They were 10-7. They kind of snuck in there because the Chargers' epic collapse. They
Yes.
challenged the Bengals in that first round game.
Yeah.
So is this the year where the Raiders get over the hump? I feel like they've just been in that mediocrity. And is this the year like Davante go, yeah? Or is it like, meh? For
I
all
think,
listeners, it's mitt and
yeah, I'd please do those sound effects as many times as you can. I'm going to go with a mirror. I don't know which one that was,
I
but
don't remember. I think
yeah.
that was that like meh or meh.
My big question mark, honestly, is the coaching staff.
Right.
Josh McDaniels is an exciting name, and he's a great play caller, and he's a great offensive mind. If you remember his time in Denver, it did not end well.
Started well.
Started well, did not end well, and so you're kind of like a little hesitant because you're like, how's it going to go this time around? Now, I think he's grown a lot since then. I think he got the job maybe a little too early in Denver.
Denver, yes.
But I think now he's a lot more seasoned. He's been through the Patriot system twice now.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's legit. They could open things up on the offense, and you're already seeing them do some crazy stuff in the preseason, right? They've got Josh Jacobs like playing during the preseason.
Right.
He's on his last year of his deal. They draft Zamir White, new regime. Right. What are they looking for here? Zamir White's a good runner, and he's got good experience in Georgia. So I don't know. I think you're gonna. This team will feel its way out, and by midway through the season, I think they'll hit their stride, and they could be pretty dangerous. I'm not sure how the defense is going to look, and that's ultimately going to dictate if they make it far or not.
Sure.
And I think that even if they make the playoffs, I think it's going to come down to defense because the offense is good enough with Hunter Renfrow and Darren Waller, and now of course Davante Adams is a freaking get. But I think it's going to come down to defense, honestly.
So obviously Davante Adams going from Aaron Rodgers to Derek Carr. Is there a drop off? How much? Where are you taking Davante?
Yes. Drop off.
yes to everything.
Yes, drop off. I think there's no chance. I don't care they played together at college or whatever. You could have played with Derek Carr your whole life, and he wouldn't be as good as the first time you played with Aaron Rodgers. It's just not in the same league. So that's part of the problem. There are more mouths to feed here, which could take some coverage away. We talked about this in the Miami episode a little bit.
Right.
Could take some of the coverage away. You got Waller, who's a beast. Renfrow, obviously, we talked about him pretty much every episode last season.
He was a blind resume.
Darling. So, I think he's going to have more single coverage than he did in Green Bay.
Right.
Thing is, it didn't matter in Green Bay. He and Rodgers were playing a different game together, and that's not going to. You're not going to replicate that. I don't care how familiar you are with the quarterback. So I think there has to be a drop off. The average is 20% in fantasy points. I don't know that that's going to happen with him, but it might, and you got to be prepared for that. And that's why I think he's already dropping to wide receiver 5-6 range just in case.
Wild. When he was 1 last year.
He's been 1. I mean, he's been an unquestioned 1 for several years now. So I think you have to be a little bit concerned, but he's not going to bomb. There's no chance he bombs. No. So I would not at all worry about that. I think he's a completely safe pick. I don't know if he has the same upside.
I feel like we could be playing quarterback and still get him at least 1,000 yards.
Absolutely.
Okay, you would get him.
I did when I was throwing with Drew and Matt Ryan. I mean, right. Davante was out there catching bombs. Yeah, he was catching bombs.
Wow. I'm guessing Julio was there for Matt, right?
Yeah. I told Julio to come to Tennessee, but then, he sucked.
He got kicked out of the party. So.
He sucked.
He sucked. You go play with my son.
So, I don't know. I think Davante will be fine, but I probably won't own a lot of him this year because he'll be top of the second round kind of guy, and I'm probably don't want to miss out on the running backs in that range.
Who would you rather take, Davante Adams or Tyreek Hill?
Oh, that's a tough one. I think I would stay with Davante on that one.
Those guys were 1-2 last year for the past couple of years.
Yeah,
now it's new teams, different quarterbacks.
I think I would go with Davante there.
Okay.
Tyreek really intrigues me though, because he's a game breaker, and the accuracy comment he made about Tua, which I know is fluff, whatever, but it gets in my head. I'm starting thinking dude, Jalen Waddle's a beast. If he's legit hitting him on a slant or a freaking post down the middle, Tyreek will take it to the house.
Right.
Davante's not that guy. Davante is the incredible route running, incredible footwork, when you're in the red zone, he's a target. Of course, he's a better target than Tyreek in the red zone, but
Right.
he's not probably going to take it 60 yards. That's not his game. So Tyreek always intrigues me because of that, but
Right.
and
Turn a
Davante's probably a
5-yard
little bit
catch
safer.
into a 95-yard touchdown.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. I think
Okay.
Davante's probably a little bit safer because of the quarterback situation
So Derek Carr higher than Tua?
currently. Yeah.
Okay. That's fair. Okay.
They did lose Zay Jones, so he went. Speaking of Tua, I think did he go to Miami? Is that where he went?
Tua Miami?
No, he didn't. No. He went. I think he might have gone to Chicago. I forget where he went. Zay Jones is gone. Jacksonville. He went to Jacksonville.
Jacksonville.
That's where he went. So he's gone, but they replaced him with Davante Adams. So I think they'll be fine.
So they're gonna be fine. It's all right.
Let's move on to our Powder Blues, the
Powder
Chargers.
Blues. So nothing really too splashy again. I mean, getting Gerald Everett instead of Jared Cook. Okay.
Yeah.
Probably a little more consistent. Just a little.
Slightly younger, but pretty much the same player. Yeah.
Yeah. Losing Justin Jackson, which he's a good role player.
Yep.
I don't know. So they draft Isaiah Spiller. What do you think?
So I think everyone was stoked about Isaiah Spiller, and I think he's still adjusting. And I even heard Austin Eckler interviewed on a podcast, and they were asking about Isaiah Spiller because it's the big name. Everyone's talking about him. Like, is he going to immediately step into the 2? Justin Jackson was the backup last year. He did a great job.
He helped me a week or two. Justin did.
Yeah, he was really good. And so they're like, okay, it's Spiller's job now. And Eckler was kind of like, yep, he's still, got a lot to learn. He's working hard though. We're proud of him. Didn't say what you wanted to hear him say, which is like, oh, the guy's a beast. Like, we were stoked to have him, which he could have done that. And you could have said it was fluff, but he was like, no, legit. He didn't even say that. So I think he's got some adjusting to do. It sounds like Josh Kelly is the guy who's going to be the number 2 right now. And Eckler says he's looking really good. He's like a 3rd-year back out of Tennessee.
I think he was a rookie last year, wasn't he?
I think he's a 2nd-year guy.
I think he's a 2nd year.
Okay. So I saw him in college. He was a beast. So he could be the backup to Eckler. The bigger question I have is going to be in the receivers. So Mike Williams is catching a ton of buzz, and he is like, people are going nuts on him because he had that monster year last year. Right? Yeah, he had a monster year, and he became, for the first half of the year, he became a lot more consistent, and he was putting up like 25, 30 points several weeks in a row. You know what I mean? So the old Mike Williams, which was like 40 points one week, 6 the next, started to steady out a little bit. So the big question is like, do you want Keenan or do you want Mike Williams?
Right. So
where do you fall on that?
I'm a big Keenan guy. I've loved him for the past like 3 or 4 seasons. Obviously but Mike is too, a little injury prone. He did miss a couple games last season, but I like Keenan Allen a lot, and I just think he's solid. And now with Justin Herbert, this is going to be his 3rd season. He's obviously shown his growth. He's only going up, and it seems to be exponential. And I think, the way they ended the season last year stung so bad. Just how they finished, how they missed the playoffs, the way they did. I think they're going to come in with a chip on their shoulder. Because if you think about it, if you look at the 2 beast quarterbacks of Herbert's rookie class, it's him and Burrow. They're always going to be linked. Tua a little bit because obviously they went with Tua instead of Herbert. But you're always going to think of Burrow and Herbert. And Burrow brought him to a Super Bowl. And while Herbert has the flashier numbers, more yards, more touchdowns, it's like, you didn't even make the playoffs, man. You haven't been to a playoff game. Burrow does it coming off an ACL injury. First year back, boom, Super Bowl. So it's weird to say, but Herbert's going to have something to prove this year that he can be a winner. He can put up the numbers. That's not a question. He's a stud in that sense. But can he lead the team to wins? And honestly, going back to your question about Mike Williams or Keenan Allen, I think it's going to have to be through Keenan Allen. And don't get me wrong, they're both spectacular receivers, and Mike is going to have great numbers too. But I think this is where Keenan and he are going to just have that, that chemistry, that connection, and really take it to the next level. And ideally, if Keenan's healthy, he's going to be a stud.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. Every single thing. I think they needed to get a little more consistent on defense too. Right. They've got Bosa. They re-signed Derwin James, and they just picked up J.C. Jackson too. So their defense should be studly this year. I agree that Keenan is the freaking man. I love that dude. He's a PPR monster. Mike Williams is like legit second or third round in a best ball draft. I did one already, and he went so freaking high because he has that ceiling that's like 40 points one week, and that's all you need. You
Right.
don't need the consistency there. So,
Oh, right. That's for best ball. You
for
don't.
best ball, you don't need it.
My concern is just with the Mike Williams thing. Is he and Tyler Lockett, granted, size differences are way off, but Tyler
Yeah.
Lockett could go 200 yards, 3 touchdowns. Next week, 30 yards on 3 catches.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
And Mike was kind of in that same vein, but I think last year's showing he could be more consistent, at least. So it's just, can he do it again? And I think hopefully he'll prove it again this year, but I still think Keenan will have the upper hand in their matchup.
Yep. Keenan's going to get his no matter what. The question is all about if Mike can be more consistent.
Gerald Everett's going to steal all of Mike's stuff.
There is actually a question about their wide receiver 3, which could be relevant, both because of injuries, but also they contribute. And we've got these two guys, Josh Palmer and Jalen Guyton. And I've kind of been in the Guyton camp because it looked like they were giving him more opportunities last year, and he played well when he got the opportunity.
It did.
But Josh Palmer's getting all the buzz right now, and it sounds like he's pretty firmly entrenched himself as a number 3. So just an FYI to anybody, if you're, again, with best ball, certainly would matter. But if you're deep in your draft, if you have like a 16 to 20 round draft or something where you draft a bunch of guys, you're in a 12-team league, I think Josh Palmer is the guy to take a flyer on over Jalen Guyton.
Okay. Fair. Good to know.
Just saying. All right, let's move on to them Broncos. Ooh.
The Broncos.
I was going to say the Davante was probably the biggest signing all offseason, but the Russell Wilson deal trumped that and became the biggest news in the league.
Yeah.
Denver gives up pretty much every draft pick they've got for the next 5 years.
In eternity.
They get Russell Wilson.
It's like a Shark Tank deal in perpetuity. You just
it's like, they've got residuals coming in, royalties.
Kind of like how the Mets are paying Bobby Bonilla until like 2030.
That's true. They paid him like a 40-year deal. Yep. Oh my God.
Well, I think awesome. Honestly, and I don't know how this isn't getting as much pub, but I think Ken Griffey is still getting paid by the Reds. Like, I think that's still a thing. So, but that's not as big as the Bobby Bonilla. Anyway, sorry. Back to the Broncos. No draft picks for 50 years.
That's right. So Russell Wilson comes in there and immediately elevates everyone around him. The receivers are now blowing up in drafts. The running backs were already pretty hot. This team's going to be a force on offense, I think.
I was going to make a very insensitive comment when you said the wide receivers are blowing up. Yeah, so are their knees. Oh, sorry.
Ooh, too soon.
Tim. That was too
soon.
Timmy.
Too soon. Sorry, Timmy.
Too dark, too fast. Especially when Tim Patrick had like a solid year last year. Everyone was
really good year.
Next step. He
got a deal. He signed paid. All these guys. Yeah, he got paid.
So
I don't know.
Yeah. But would he have been wide receiver 4? I mean,
no, he would have been 3.
So over KJ Hamler.
Hamler has been elevated because Patrick's gone.
Okay. I mean, shoot. That's still a good 3 now with KJ.
I know. Yeah. This is a nasty wide receiving core. The big question is who's number 1.
Right.
And does it matter? Like, is it 1A, 1B, or is it a 1 and a 2? Who's DK and who's Lockett, I guess, maybe, if you want to make that comparison. And of course, size will tell you
who
those are. But Sutton is DK in that case, right? He's the taller one, right?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. What?
Yeah. But either way, like, I think the general consensus is that Sutton is the number 1 here, and that Judy is still getting a little more consistent. He's got the flashiness and he's got the speed and the route running and all that, but he's also injury prone too.
Yeah.
So I think Sutton is the one who's catching the most hype, and he's going the earliest in drafts.
Hey, shout out to my boy Nick Drader. I remember I traded you Cortland Sutton last year. You loved him once I traded.
You loved him.
I'm sorry, that was bad. He tanked at the end of last year.
Banana hammer. You should send your shirt back.
You got banana hammered right there.
Yeah, you did.
But I mean, that was also, I feel like a lot to do with quarterback play with Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock in there, and just Russell's going to make a big difference. And as you're saying with Sutton, all the talk out of camp is that they have the great connection. Everyone thought it might have been Judy, but Cortland Sutton and Russell Wilson have really been having the hookups in camp. So yeah, they're seeing him as 1. But again, with Judy being right behind with 1B, as you said, there's not really that much of a drop off in this sense.
Yeah,
Russell's going to find you like he did in Seattle.
Yeah, I think these are both starting caliber, top 30 receivers for sure. Maybe even top 20 together. We'll see about that. How about our boy Kendall Hinton catching a touchdown in the preseason? Let's go, Kendall Hinton.
Yes.
Swiss Army knife, quarterback if needed, wide receiver.
God, how bad was he at quarterback when he played, though?
I was actually stunned. I'm not trying to go on too
That he
long of a
played,
tangent.
or
I was stunned that he was that bad because like he's
Oh.
played quarterback before. That looked like a dude who's never played quarterback. to
Didn't he
me.
miss like his first 12 throws?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was like, and it was like throwing them in the ground. It wasn't just time. I mean, timing obviously had something to do with it, but like he couldn't throw. And I was like, dude, you threw the ball for years. Like you were a quarterback.
It was your job at one point.
How do you not know how to throw now?
Yeah.
It was kind of funny, but I mean, obviously everyone was jumping on his. They were rallying for him because he was. That was such a crazy situation. But anyway, so I think here's the last thing I'd say about Russell specifically. He could have gone anywhere he wanted to. And you knew that he was unhappy not getting to throw it as much as he wanted, to let Russ cook, all that stuff. He wasn't going to throw it as much as he wanted to in Seattle. He worked out this deal with the idea that, hey, I get to run the show. And they're already talking about it. Like he runs the offense at the line of scrimmage. He calls audibles, his own audibles. Mm-hmm. They're going to give him the keys.
Yeah. So
you're doubting.
I don't know if I'm doubting. It's just, so he says he can go anywhere he wants. So he goes to Denver, who have two good running backs.
Yeah.
And Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon, like those are a good 1-2 punch. And you tell me they're not going to try and run the ball here?
They are going to run the ball for sure. They've got studs for running backs. Right. I'm not saying they're going to throw it 60 times a game.
I mean, these are more studly running backs than he had in Seattle.
Yes, by far. Yeah. But I'm just telling you, there's no way he went there to hand the ball off. And they paid him all that money to hand the ball off.
No.
And they're not – I don't even think they're going to be like necessarily a run-first team. I think they could be because of the talent they have, but they also have stud receivers and a stud quarterback. Like this team is going to be balanced, but they will be lethal in every way.
So shout out to my wife's Uncle Doug, who lives in Seattle area.
Shout out Uncle Doug. What up?
Uncle Doug Seegert. So he's a big Seahawk guy. And so I actually saw him this past weekend. He was visiting here in Michigan.
Name dropper.
And so he loves talking sports with me. He'd be like, did you see Russell Wilson got traded? I'm like, I did see that. And so
he asked you this weekend if you saw that Russell Wilson got traded.
He's like, did you see that he got traded? I was like, I did see that. Yeah.
Doug with the scoop on that. Look out.
So he's like, yeah. So of course, now that he's out of Seattle, all the dirty laundry's coming out. I'm like, oh, really? What was it? And he's like, oh, that his wife is in like all the meetings and stuff. And his mom is always making demands of tickets and being at practices and something. I'm like, all right. So, hey, watch out, Denver. His entourage is coming. Or
look out for Ciara. She's coming for you. I think he was
3, 2, 1, level up.
I thought he was banging Percy Harvin, or Percy Harvin was banging his wife. Maybe I forget how. There's something bad going on there, and with Percy Harvin in Seattle.
You thought Percy Harvin was banging Russell Wilson?
Yeah, his first wife.
Russell.
I think that was
that Russell was a virgin prior to Ciara.
No, yeah. Well, I think he had this whole perception that he was like, he came in like pretty strong on the faith train,
right?
And he was married.
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. On draft day, was that? Well, I don't know if he was married at the time, but
maybe not married at the time. Yeah.
There's that classic picture of her going,
yeah,
when he got the ball.
Yeah. So, he is a bit of a diva at this point, and I don't know if he has changed or if he's just gotten more famous.
I mean, I guess he's earned his diva status.
Yeah, but I mean, I will just say that like all of that has made me like him slightly less, because I was like a huge fan, and now I'm kind of like, I mean, I still love the guy because he's short and plays quarterback, but I don't know, he's a little annoying at times too.
I still love the guy because he's short.
Yeah, pretty much shout out to my shouties out there, shouties. But anyway, so he's gonna be throwing the ball a lot, I think.
He's gonna be good.
Let's talk about Melvin and Javonte, though.
Yes.
This is the question everybody wants to know. Last year, it was kind of like a 50-50 split, and Melvin was the lead guy. And Javonte was slowly taking over more work, and eventually they became 50-50. Seems like we're going to have probably the opposite this year, right? Where it's going to probably be Javonte first, like 55-45 maybe.
I guess. It's crazy. So I was just really curious about Melvin Gordon, so I was looking him up the other day. And he had obviously one massive year in San Diego where he had over 1,000 yards rushing, something like 500-ish yards receiving, and it was spectacular. And then he obviously had a little bit of an injury prone, and then he held out for half the year or the first 4 games or something. Anyway, so there's that drama. And then he comes to Denver, and you're like, oh man, he's going to have a huge drop off because he was splitting time and all this. So, but I was looking at his stats. The past 2 years, he's still gotten just under 1,000 yards rushing, and that's splitting time. And I did not expect that. I thought it'd be like in the 700s or something like that. But no, like his 2 years in Denver, he's gotten over 900 yards rushing each time, and he's still getting, I think, about 200 or 300 yards receiving. So he has honestly surprised me in that sense, and I didn't realize it. It's sneaky how he's sneaky in that he sneaks up on you, that you don't expect these numbers out of him the way he's doing it. I said sneaky like 5 times.
You did. He's sneaky and then he sneaks up on you.
He's like a sneaky ninja.
He's like the guy who runs the elevator, Mr. Deeds. Very sneaky.
Wow, can we just point out you just referenced Mr. Deeds and the John Turturro?
Yeah, it's a great movie. Yeah, that character's awesome too.
Yes.
So Melvin Gordon is a flex. He's a flex play every week. I mean, he really, even as a split carried back, I mean, he really is. And he was super effective. You thought he was kind of washed maybe, which is why they got Javante. And you're like, oh, Javante's going to take over. It's going to be the Javante show. And he did look nasty. Don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. But Melvin stepped up to competition, man. He really did. Yeah. And he was like, yeah, no, I'm not done yet. And I don't think he'll be done this year either, honestly. And in fact, I think managing his workload like that helps his longevity.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be another split. I do think Javante will get the starters reps initially, more this year. Maybe not the entire season, but I think you'll see more of that this year. They very well might have Melvin in the first series of the season just to piss people off and just to, like, honor the veteran or whatever. But this is going to be the year that Javante starts to break out. And of course, if Melvin misses any time like he did last year, missed a game or two last year, that's when Javante really just went freaking nuts.
Went bananas.
So you'll see the guy's a beast. I mean, he's built for the NFL. That's just all there is to it.
True.
So
AFC West.
AFC West. There it is, man.
It's going to be a bloodbath. That's going to be fun to watch.
The last name I put it on here, and I wanted to mention him, Greg Dulcich. They drafted this kid out of UCLA. He was the Mackey Award-winning tight end. And they've got this dude, Alberto, who's like the presumable starter at tight end after Noah Fant went to Seattle with Drew Lock. But don't be surprised if Dulcich gets in there, and I guess he's already shown some flashes in practices and camp and stuff. Rookie tight ends don't usually do much, so don't get overhyped either, but it could be a name to keep on your radar for later in the season if he starts progressing.
Okay. Late season pickup or mid-season?
Mid-season pickup. There you go.
That works. Nice. Whew. AFC West. Goodbye.
What do you say we move on to some how it started? How it's going. Look at that banner. You see that banner?
I saw the smooth transition you just did there. That was good.
You like that, don't you?
You were just waiting. You're like, oh, you're so excited to do
I'm like, stop talking. I got something. Stop.
I got something. I want to just do it. But first, you didn't say it right. It's how it started versus how it's going. Right.
I just think you need to record these, and we just need to plug them in. Or just actually, it's probably even better you just do it every time.
It's different every time.
It is slightly different every time.
Different pitches. I need to get right. There we go. I'm good to go now.
Yeah. Absolutely dreadful. That was absolutely dreadful.
Thanks, Simon.
Okay, so I've got 3 for you today. You're on the hot seat. Let's go. Okay. One of these is a cupcake, so.
Give me the middle one as a cupcake.
Okay. All right. Went to college at Oregon State. Drafted New Orleans Saints. Now Houston Texans.
Oh, dear God. Oh, dear God. Oregon State.
We'll give you position as a hint if you need it.
Okay, so wait. Oregon State drafted by who again?
Saints.
And it's now on the Texans. Is it Brandon Cooks?
It is Brandon Cooks.
Ugh, I didn't think he went to Oregon State.
That would have been the giveaway for me. I knew that. But, yeah, he's been a few places in between. And
so
maybe that's why you got to think about it, because you're like, true. These aren't all just two teams.
Not boom, boom. I'm not going to lie, and this is really embarrassing. You said Oregon State. I'm like, okay, Chad Johnson. It's not Chad Johnson. It's like drafted, went to college, Oregon State, drafted by Cincinnati, currently on his couch.
Currently not playing. Could play. You could still lace him up.
Still live there.
Ocho. Oof. All right. Good job. All right. I got one cupcake for you here. College, Wisconsin. Drafted San Diego Chargers. Now Denver Broncos.
Yeah,
I already had it teed up.
You already had it. Melvin. Old Melvin.
It's old Melvin. Yeah. I forgot we were talking about both those teams today, and that would make it super freaking easy.
And I did that for you for on campus, my friend.
Okay, there you go.
But I appreciate it. I'll take it. I will take it.
You did say Wisconsin for him. All right, let's see if you can get this one. College LSU. This is going to be tougher.
A legit hard one?
No, it's not hard. It's just harder. Yeah, it's harder because it's LSU, which a bunch of those folks in there.
A lot of LSUs.
Drafted Miami Dolphins. Now New Orleans Saints.
That's a good one. That's a very good one. It's Jarvis Landry.
Jarvis.
Yes, that's good.
I thought you might have forgotten that he was a Dolphin because it was kind of like no man's land.
Right?
He was nasty for a while there.
He was there for like 3 or 4 years. He had a couple 1,000-yarders, didn't he?
Yeah. He was the PPR monster down there.
Yeah.
But the Browns, like, he just disappeared for a while with the Browns. And so
like Odell and him and
like everyone who plays there other than Nick Chubb.
So soon will be Amari Cooper.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, that was a good one. I like that one. Because he too is obviously bounced around from Miami, Cleveland, now and Saints. Saints was a tough one because that was kind of like an under the radar.
That was an under radar signing, for sure. And it's I think he's gonna be sneaky good down there this year. We talked about him when we covered the Saints, but yeah, that was one that didn't get a lot of pub, didn't get a lot of hype.
But that's a good pickup, and I'm sure they got him for cheap. So
yep,
that's a good deal. Yep. Honestly, when he first said LSU, I was like, "There's no way he's going to do Leonard Fournette. That'd be too obvious." And like Tampa Bay,
Jacksonville drafted Jacksonville, now Tampa Bay.
But yeah, okay, good. That's it. Whew.
Hey, great work.
Appreciate it.
Look at you. You can handle the hot seat.
I got lucky with Brandon Cooks. So I was like, all right, who else on the Texans? I wasn't confident in Oklahoma State at all, but then I was like, Saints. Like he did start with the Saints, and then so anyway.
You know what would make this even harder if you didn't tell where they are now? It'd just be like how it started. How it started. Oregon State drafted by the Saints. Go. Like, oh my gosh, I have no idea where this guy is now.
That would be hard. We may have to start doing that if we just keep acing them.
Just how it started.
They just make a new ticker.
How it started.
Where's it going?
Yeah, you have to tell them where they're at now. Yeah.
Or you do the whole path. So like with Brandon Cooks, it'd be like New Orleans, New England, LA, Houston.
That'd be way too easy. Don't you think?
No, like
the contestant has to tell them.
Yeah, the contestant would have to say it.
Yeah, that would be
So Jarvis would be Miami,
Cleveland,
New
Orleans,
Melbourne, San Diego, Denver.
There you go.
Nice.
Nailed it.
Crushed it.
Extra credit. You're trying to get extra credit there. Bonus points.
But wow. Okay. So that's all divisions, man. We have officially previewed each division in this NFL. Shoot, how many weeks away? We're only a couple weeks away from the start of the season, which is awesome. And then upcoming episodes, we're going to be doing previews of our mock drafts. We're going to be giving some perfect lineups, perfect draft kind of things.
Rankings.
I still think, and I haven't talked to my co-host yet about this, we should get in a group of 6 to 8 people and literally do a mock draft live. I think that'd be kind of fun. So
we are going to do it. I think we are going to do it.
Putting it out there onto the waves, and let us know if you want in. We can do an 8-team draft. We could do a 12-team, 10.
We can populate the non-drafters with bots. On the Sleeper app, you can do mock drafts by yourself, and they're really fast because
it is super fast.
You don't have to wait for some clown that joined a mock draft with you to do it. So
true. You
can fill in 6 slots on one of those and have 4 computers, and it'll be quick.
Well, hit us up. Let us know if you want to be part of our mock draft. It'll be super fun. We'll do it live on the air. We'll roast each other. Mainly, we'll be roasting you, but it'll be a good time. But until we did, what was that?
Until we did.
Like a box of chocolates. Until then, keep on folding.
Fold it.
Fold it.